Hello everyone. Welcome to the virtual class of earning per share. In previous session, we have discussed calculation of EPS when the company has issued bonus equity shares. Today, in this session, I would like to discuss one of the important area of the chapter earning per share, and it is all about calculation of earning per share when right shares are issued. As we all know that the company may issue right equity shares to the existing equity shareholders. It may be possible that company may issue right equity shares to equity shareholders either at par or at the offer price, which is less than that of the average fair market value. In this situation, we need to calculate earning per share using different mechanism under the guidelines given by ICAI in accounting standard number 20. Before discussion of the practical problem of right shares and how to encounter the question, it is necessary for you to know that examiner may provide us question of right shares in two different format. Let us refer the question first. In first way of presentation, the examiner may provide you information into paragraph form. New India Limited provides you following information. Number one, profit attributable to equity shareholders for the year 2016-17, rupees 18 lakhs. For the year 2017-18, rupees 36 lakhs. Number two, issued and subscribed capital 5 lakhs equity shares of rupees 10 each. The company offers right shares to the existing equity shareholders in the ratio of 2 right shares against 5 equity shares held on 31st July 2017. It is one of the important date for our calculation is concerned. The offer price is rupees 27 per share. On 31st July 2017, the fair market value of equity share is rupees 40 per share. The fair value on the date of right issue is rupees 40, and the company has offered its right shares to the existing equity shareholders at the rate of rupees 27. Calculate earning per share as per accounting standard number 20. It is the first way of presentation of the question. It may be possible that examiner may provide us information into different format, and the question will be available to us in the form of tabulation. Particular 2016-17, 2017-18. Profit distributable to equity shareholders rupees 18 lakhs and 36 lakhs. This information given to us in number 1. Numbers of equity shares of rupees 10 each as on 1st April 2016, 5 lakhs. 1st April 2017, it was 5 lakhs. issue of right shares as on 31st July 2017. Offer price is rupees 27. In earlier way of presentation, the ratio of right shares were given. 2 right shares for 5 equity shares held. Here, instead of the ratio, the examiner has provided information of numbers of right shares issued to the existing equity shareholders, and right shares are 2 lakhs in numbers based on the information. 5 lakhs multiplied by 2 divided by 5. On 31st July 2017, the fair market value of equity share is rupees 40 per share. Same way, all these informations were provided by the examiner in tabular format, and the same informations were given to us in a paragraph format. Before learning the way of a solution, it should be clear in your mindset that whatever the way of presentation is, ultimately we need these many items as a part of our question so as we can calculate earning per share when the company has offered right equity shares to the existing equity shareholders. I hope everyone is clear with the content given as a part of our question. As a part of a solution, first of all, we will calculate earning per share using the guidelines provided by ICAI in form of accounting standard number 20. Let us calculate E.P.S using traditional method. In fact, it is not required as a part of our solution, but for the purpose of your knowledge, you can calculate earning per share using traditional method. Basic E.P.S, profit distributable to equity shareholders, divided by weighted average numbers of equity shares. Number of right shares issued by the company 5 lakhs multiplied by 2 divided by 5, because the ratio of right issue is 2 right shares for every 5 equity shares held. So 5 lakhs multiplied by 2 divided by 5 is equal to 2 lakhs shares. Now, if you follow the instructions given in the question, you can easily calculate E.P.S. For the year 2016-17, profit distributable to equity shareholders were rupees 18 lakhs and numbers of equity shares were 5 lakhs, because right shares are offered in the year 2017-18. So for the year 2016-17, there is no issue of right shares. So numbers of equity shares remain same, 5 lakhs. So 18 lakhs rupees profit distributable to equity shareholders divided by numbers of equity shares of 5 lakhs. 18 lakhs divided by 5 lakhs is equal to earning per share rupees 3.6. While in the year 2017-18, profit distributable to equity shareholders were rupees 36 lakhs. And this information is already given to us in our question in a ready-made form. During the year 2017-18, the company has issued 2 lakhs equity shares to its existing equity shareholders in form of right shares. So numbers of equity shares are 7 lakhs. Original equity shares 5 lakhs plus right shares issued by the company in the ratio of 2 shares for every 5 shares held. So 5 lakhs plus 2 lakhs is equal to 7 lakhs. 36 lakhs divided by 7 lakhs is equal to rupees 5.14 per share. In this question, the examiner has not demanded calculation of traditional EPS from us, but as a part of learning about calculation of traditional method, I have explained this so as you can calculate traditional EPS if it is required as a part of your solution. I hope everybody is clear with this simple solution of EPS using traditional method. Now, as per the requirement of our question, we need to calculate earning per share using the guidelines given by the examiner in our question, and it is all about following the instructions given in accounting standard number 20. If you want to calculate EPS when right shares are issued following the guidelines given in accounting standard number 20, it is necessary for you to follow the steps. The first step is calculation of theoretical X right price. Second step is all about calculation of conversion factor. Third step, calculation of weighted average numbers of shares. That is most important calculation for all of us in order to secure the marks. And step number 4 is calculation of EPS. So if you want to calculate earning per share when right equity shares are issued by the company, it is necessary for all of you to follow the guidelines given in AS 20. And as per the guidelines given in AS 20, we need to follow these 4 steps available on your screen. Step number 1 is all about calculation of theoretical X right price that we will discuss in detail. Step number 2, calculation of conversion factor. Step number 3, calculation of weighted average numbers of shares. And last step, that is our answer, calculation of EPS. Let us move to step number 1. It is all about calculation of theoretical X right price. In formula, you can say that original numbers of equity shares multiplied by fair market value plus number of right shares multiplied by offer price per share divided by original number of shares plus numbers of right shares. This is nothing more than weighted average price of the share. Weighted average price. If you remember weighted average method of stock register, the formula was P1 multiplied by Q1 plus P2 multiplied by Q2 divided by Q1 plus Q2. P1 stands for first price, Q1 stands for first quantity available, P2 is equal to second price, Q2 related to second quantity. Same way here P1 that is a fair market value, Q1 original numbers of shares, P2 that is offer price for right shares issued by the company, and Q2 number of right shares issued by the company divided by Q1 original numbers of equity shares plus Q2 number of right shares offered by the company. Insert all the values in the formula. Original numbers of shares 5 lakhs multiplied by fair market value rupees 40 plus number of right shares offered by the company 2 lakhs multiplied by offer price for right shares rupees 27 divided by 5 lakhs that is original number of equity shares plus 2 lakhs that is number of right shares offered by the company. Now simply 5 lakhs multiplied by 40 and 2 lakhs multiplied by 27. So 5 lakhs multiplied by 40 that is 2 crores plus 2 lakhs multiplied by 27 that is 54 lakhs divided by 5 lakhs plus 2 lakhs is equal to 7 lakhs. So in all 2 crores 54 lakhs divided by 7 lakhs. It means theoretical X right price is rupees 36.29. You can say that this 36.29 is weighted average price of the share after the issue of right shares, because average fair market price is rupees 40. The company has issued 2 lakhs right shares at the rate of rupees 27. So weighted average price of these equity shares are rupees 36.29. Technically, the name of this weighted average price is theoretical X right price. It is all about solution of our first step. After discussion of step number 1, let us move to step number 2. Step number 2 is all about calculation of conversion factor. It is nothing more than following a very simple formula. Conversion factor is equal to fair market value per share divided by theoretical X right price. Fair market value per share is already given to us in our question. It is rupees 40, and information regarding theoretical X right price that we have completed in our calculation during step number 1. Let us insert the values in the formula. Fair market value per share rupees 40 divided by theoretical X right price 36.29. So the conversion factor is 40 divided by 36.29 is equal to 1.1. This conversion factor is highly useful to us for the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares in step number 3. So if one fail to calculate correct conversion factor, This information affects to calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares in step number 3. So always be careful for the calculation of fair market value per share in step number 1 and conversion factor in step number 2. It is very easy to calculate conversion factor with the help of fair market value per share divided by theoretical X right price. After discussion of step number 2, calculation of conversion factor, let us move to the most important part of our calculation, and it is step number 3, calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares. Here, weighted average numbers of equity shares are based on a different manner. Let us understand the information given by the examiner in our question. For the year 2016-17, the period is between 1st April 2016 to 31st March 2017. This is our period before right issue, because right shares are offered in the year 2017-18 very precisely on the date 31st July 2017. During the year 2017, the date of right issue is 31st July. So you can classify your period into two parts. 1st April 2017 to 31st July 2017. April, May, June and July. So the period of 4 months. This period of 4 months are defined as a period before right issue. On July 31st, the company has issued right shares. So from 1st August 2017 to 31st March 2018, that is a remaining period of 8 months during the year 2017-18, referred to as a period after right issue. Remember, it is necessary for us to classify the period into two parts: period before right issue and period after right issue, because calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares before right issue and after right issue will be based on a different theory. Let us understand the calculation. For the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares before the period of right issue, the number of shares are required to multiply by the conversion factor. It is necessary for all of you to remember this rule. If you want to calculate weighted average numbers of equity shares before the period of right issue, I have underlined this information so as you can focus this information very properly. For the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares before the period of right issue, the number of shares are required to multiply by the conversion factor. So not only the element of time, but also the element of conversion factor is playing an important role for the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares. So before calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares, it is necessary to classify the period into two different parts. First part, that is before right issue, and second part, that is after right issue. Whatever the period available to us before right issue, we need to calculate weighted average numbers of equity shares based on the conversion factor that we have completed just before a few minutes. For this question, conversion factor is 1.1. I hope everyone is clear with this guideline provided in AS 20. Just raise your query if you have into chat. For 2016-17, 2016-17 is a period before a right issue. So the formula for the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares are numbers of shares multiplied by conversion factor as mentioned in the guideline multiplied by period involved in our calculation. For the year 2016-17, the whole year is period before right issue. Numbers of shares 5 lakhs multiplied by conversion factor 1.1 multiplied by 12 months out of 12 months. So 12 divided by 12. So weighted average numbers of equity shares for the year 2016-17 is 5,50,000. For the year 2017-18, this calculation is playing important role. During 2017-18, we have both types of period before right issue and a period after right issue. Period before right issue from 1st April 2017 to July 31st 2017. So April, May, June and July, period of 4 months. Numbers of shares 5 lakhs multiplied by conversion factor 1.1 and period involved in the calculation during the year 2017-18 4 months. So it is 4 by 12. So 5 lakhs multiplied by 1.1 multiplied by 4 divided by 12 is equal to 1,83,333 numbers of equity shares during first 4 months of 2017-18. On 31st July 2017, the company has issued 2 lakhs right equity shares. So period after right issue, number of shares multiplied by period involved in the calculation. Now we are not in need of conversion factor because the effect of conversion factor is applicable before the period of right issue. Numbers of shares are now 7 lakhs, 5 lakhs original equity shares plus 2 lakhs right shares. So after the period or after the date of right issue, numbers of equity shares are 7 lakhs and the period involved in the calculation is 8 months. So 8 divided by 12. So 7 lakhs multiplied by 8 divided by 12 is equal to 4,66,667. So the total for the year 2017-18 is 6,50,000. For the year 2016-17, weighted average numbers of equity shares are 5,50,000. For the year 2017-18, the first 4 months defined as a period before right issue and during this period after the effect of conversion factor, numbers of shares are 183,333 and during the period after right issue 466,667 for the period of 8 months. So numbers of equity shares are 6,50,000 and these weighted average numbers of shares are applicable to our calculation of earning per share. I hope everyone is clear with the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares. After the calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares, let us move to step number 4. It is last step of our solution. Step number 4, calculation of EPS as per AS 20, not 29, AS 20. Year 2016-17, 2017-18. Profit distributable to equity shareholders. For the year 16-17, profit is 18 lakhs. And for the year 2017-18, 36 lakhs. Weighted average numbers of equity shares 5 lakhs 50,000 and 6 lakhs 50,000. So EPS 18 lakhs divided by 5 lakhs 50,000 equals to rupees 3.27 per share. And for the year 2017-18, information regarding profit distributable to equity shareholders rupees 36 lakhs are given to us in ready-made form. Using the guidelines given in accounting standard number 20, we have completed calculation of weighted average numbers of equity shares. For the year 2017-18, weighted average numbers of equity shares are 6 lakhs 50,000. So 36 lakhs divided by 6 lakhs 50,000 is equal to rupees 5.54 per share. I hope everybody is clear with the solution of this problem. This is one of the important session from the chapter earning per share. I hope everyone is clear with the solution when right shares are offered by the company. Keep watching the next sessions. Thank you.